On this episode of Latinas, we'll see the very best segments from Season 1. Stay tuned. Welcome to Latinas, the show that's all about nuestras mujeres in the Latinx community. I'm Tinabeth Piña. Last month, we showed you our very best segments from Season 1 of this groundbreaking show. And today, we're going to share even more. How awesome is that? We're kicking off the show with a very important segment that I produced about racial justice in education. Teachers have a very significant lifelong impact on all of their students. And because of that influence, it's very important for them to be sensitive about race in the classroom. Let's take a look.
But in this political climate now, a lot of families and a lot of students are coming into the school building fearing for their lives, especially around deportation. And so if we're not working with our teachers to think about the implications of how they hold space for these young children in our current climate, then we can be continuing to harm them if we're not holding space for them.
New York born and bred Natalia Ortiz is the training director at the Center for Racial Justice in Education, whose mission is to train and empower educators to dismantle patterns of racism and injustice in their schools and communities.
Part of what brought me here is after I had been teaching, right, in the classroom with young people, it became very clear that there were, in my work and in my relationships with other teachers, that the approach to teaching was very different. Their understanding of their own racial identity in relationship to the students we were serving, who were mostly Black and brown, was very different. We need to think and reflect on the ways that we might be perpetuating harm in the classroom, unintentionally sometimes, right?
Some of the core values of the center include transformation, uplifting people of color, and encouraging community. The teachers who are now the students find the training invaluable.
Having that language and learning how to utilize it in a way that is very child-friendly is important.
When you first get here and the program begins, they start pretty early with just giving you the history of race and how that all came to be. And it just kind of shatters your paradigm for how society is organized. As a white male, it forced me to just look in the mirror.
The center wants to educate as many people as possible, and as a Latina, Ortiz finds this work critical for the Latinx community.
It's imperative for Latinos and for me as a Latina to continue to do this work, is that in the Latino community, there is explicit anti-Blackness. And what are we doing to really disrupt that? Because it's not cool, especially for our Black Latinos who are like, wait a second, hello, I'm also part of the Latino community and I'm of the Black diaspora, so where am I in this conversation?
Why is what you're doing so important in this day and age, especially in the political climate that we're in?
I think there's been a lot of explicit language used around how we view immigrants, undocumented immigrants, or how we look at the Black community, right, in this country. And so there is a very necessary conversation to think about the ways that racialized communities are impacted, and so then that impacts how we do our work and we show up in the classroom as teachers and hold those families and hold those young people.
As Ortiz engages in those conversations, she's hopeful that change is on the horizon.
If we're able to, in schools, start to understand that there are systems and structures in place, laws and policies, history is part of that knowing, right? That have actually separated communities intentionally, then we will foster children to work against that so that then they don't repeat the same oppression that we've been living for the past 300 years in this country.
Spanish? Does speaking Spanish make you more Latina? Listen in as 4 women discuss the ultimate question: are you Latina enough? On today's Caliente Caliente.
I used to date a guy and his family used to always be like, you're not Hispanic enough because you don't do this, or they got mad at me because I didn't like arepas.
I have to keep telling people I'm Puerto Rican and they're just like, no, you're not. Either I get you're either just white or you're just Hispanic, and it's like, whoa, I can't pick one, like I'm both.
I grew up in a really small town in Massachusetts. My dad is from Cuba, he was born in Cuba. He didn't speak Spanish to us.
When I was a kid, my mom said that she didn't teach us Spanish because she learned Spanish as a first language and she didn't like being an ESL student. But I've also heard that they enjoyed having private conversations in Spanish where me and my brother couldn't partake or listen to. I think it's definitely dying out in my family. Because me and my brother, we don't speak Spanish. My cousins, I think most of them don't really speak Spanish, except for one, because she grew up in Puerto Rico. And now some of my cousins, they're a lot older than me, and they're having kids, and those kids do not understand a lick of Spanish at all. They're just straight English all the time. They don't I think they even say grandma, they don't even say like abuela anymore.
In kindergarten, I was in the bilingual class when I was in elementary school in the Lower East Side. So first grade and kindergarten and first grade, I was in that bilingual class. Then starting in second grade, I was in the regular English language class. It's so complicated, this topic, because even though you might speak Spanish, then for example, my Dominican family in Dominican Republic might say, I'm not Dominicana enough, so you're never enough of something.
It's weird how people like test like the barometer of like, oh, you need to do this to be this, you need to do that to do that. And somehow being Puerto Rican, Dominican, and biracial, I managed to not fit enough of any of those categories. So I'm like simultaneously included and denied from all of those groups, which is just oddly upsetting.
What makes us Latina then?
I think it's like the way you grew up. Like the way my parents talk to me, not specific to their language, the way you're raised, the foods you eat, the way you celebrate things, the holidays you celebrate. I don't think it has to just be language.
I guess part of it is like knowing what your parents struggled through and what your grandparents, just knowing your roots and like what the history was behind that.
I think with the other Latinas that I'm close with, there's some commonality. Definitely humility and hard work are huge.
Being Latina is definitely more than just the language. It is by the culture that we live in. And I think it starts with accepting and knowing our history, our roots. And that's another reason I think now that the Afro-Latina movement is happening, because so many people are recognizing that and embracing it. If I ever have kids, I would want them to speak Spanish. Those are the things that kind of continue to keep our culture alive. And not to talk politics, but in this political climate, I think it's so important for us to even be more proud of who we are. And if it continues with the language or the culture, we have to let other people know who we are, that we are here. And doing that with the language or with the music or the food, I think is super important.
I disagree with the part you were saying about how in the political climate we have to save tradition. Because, I screw the politics. I think tradition is part of culture, but I think culture can evolve, which I think is a big part of certain Latinas not speaking Spanish or certain people not doing exactly the same thing their family did. And I think tradition can change, and I think you could keep the roots of it, but you can let it evolve also, and I think there should be room for evolution.
Sylvia Rivera was a Latina gay liberation and transgender rights activist. The Puerto Rican Venezuelan fought to create safe spaces for queer homeless youth and spoke loudly and powerfully for equality among her community of transgender individuals. Born Ray Rivera, she later took the name Sylvia and fought for inclusion until the very end, passing away in February of 2002 at 50 years old. We're reminded of her legacy and dedication to her community, as she is the only transgender person to have a portrait in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery, and a street in Greenwich Village has been named in her honor. Her legacy also lives on through the Sylvia Rivera Law Project, which provides access to public education, social, health, and legal services for transgender, intersex, and non-gender conforming individuals. Sylvia Rivera is today's badass Latina. Food is a universal language that people from any part of the world can relate to. And Venezolana Adriana Urbina has made quite a name for herself in the world of food. She's the only Latina chef to have not only won the Food Network show Chopped, but she did it 3 times. Let's meet her.
As a kid, my dream job was to be a cook and make people happy through my passion. I wasn't in high school, I hated school. So the only thing that got me motivated was cooking. Every time that I was sad, when I was happy, when I was any type of emotion, being in the kitchen helped me going through that. But my family got to one point that they were saying like, listen, you don't like to study and you love cooking, so you have to be the best in order to go to take that road. So I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'll be the best, I'll try. Well, I'm from Venezuela, I'm from the city, Caracas, and I really miss the support and the warmth from the Latino community. What I absolutely love about New York is the diversity, all the cultures, and I feel like I'm learning every day from different cultures. So I'm living in one country, but I feel like I'm living in 10 different countries. I'm constantly learning and pushing myself because everyone is so work-driven, and that pushed me to like wanting to be better every day. Well, after working in all these Michelin-star restaurants with all these amazing ingredients, and I felt like I was missing something inside of me, and that I needed to go back to my roots. That was the most important thing, to cook food with meaning that meant something to me, and that's Latin American food. Like, that's what I love to cook, that's what I grew up eating. So I wanted it to also create awareness of what was happening in Venezuela and in different parts of Latin America. So I felt like it was perfect to start doing a pop-up dinner to promote my culture, our culture, Latin American culture that is so beautiful, and that a lot of people don't know how amazing it is. I think one of the most important things that I want to keep promoting is to work together as females. Like, as women, we need to support each other, and thinking that we can all succeed if we support each other, not competing against each other. And that's one of the most important things. And the other thing is, like, never be afraid of showing who you are and believing in you, in yourself, and speaking up. That's very important, speaking up. I'm Adriana Urbina, and I'm a chef, and I'm Latina.
Did you know that there are 250,000 Latino Muslims in the US and over 4 million Muslims in Latin America? Elena Romero met with one Latina Muslim to find out why so many are converting to that faith.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
While Chenoa Matos, a Brooklyn Nuyorican, grew up Catholic, she admits she was never a practicing Christian in the same way she is a devoted Muslim today.
Growing up, I was Catholic, pretty much by default. I went to church, I did my communion, my baptism, pretty much all that for the sake of my grandmother, in order to keep up with, with cultural appearances.
A friendship with a Muslim family in her 20s introduced Matos to Islam. Seeing them fast and in prayer set her onto a year-long spiritual journey of inquiry and discovery.
The reason why I converted to Islam was because I felt the truth in having a complete direct connection with God, that there was no intermediary, there was no pastor, there was no one that can talk to God in my place, and there was no one that was higher than me in my relationship with God.
Declaring her new faith, also known as Shahada, Matos learned Arabic in order to read the Quran and say her 5 daily prayers.
Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad.
She began wearing modest clothing and eventually embraced the hijab. Her family was very supportive through it all.
When I first converted, I kept it pretty much to myself, and I started revealing it little by little to my mom. One day, I was in my grandmother's house. I asked my abuelita, I was like, Grandma, can I go into your room? I need to do something. She said, of course. I went into my room and I started praying. I was in the middle of that, and she walks in on me. And that was, you know, the day that I said, if my grandmother is good with it, I could go forward.
What draws Latinos to the Muslim faith?
I think people see that sort of attempt to be connected to your family, which is a very, huge in the Latino community, of course, as something that they're drawn to. Other people are drawn to, the aspects of prayer.
Matos found her Muslim Latino community online and attended the North Hudson Educational Islamic Center in Union City, New Jersey.
So I went, and that's where I met, people from Puerto Rico, Ecuador, Mexico, Brazil. I mean, it was just everywhere. And the Latino Muslim Day was created from that mosque because that mosque sits right in the heart of a huge Latino community, and they were seeing a lot of Latinos converting, and they needed something to be able to provide some context for their families so that the family members wouldn't think that these people who converted into this new religion that they were so scared of because the media portrays it in such a scary way, they needed something to be able to demystify Islam for them.
Allahu Akbar.
A practicing Muslim for over 20 years, Matos is happily married to another Boricua Muslim convert she met while attending grad school at City College. They've been married for 14 years and have 3 children.
What is it that you would like people to know about your faith?
I want people to know that my faith is pretty much a very simple way of life. There's nothing scary about it. And I know that that's a hard one to digest, especially with all the stories that you see online. I'm a Muslim before I'm a mother, before I'm a woman, before I'm Latina. I'm a Muslim before all of that.
For LATINAS, I'm Elena Romero.
It's just, they have this idea that we all like hot and we all like, it's everything is about, being sexy and, I don't know if they ask you that, but that's what they expect from you. If you're serious, they don't expect that you're serious and that you have something in your mind. They always think about, I don't have anything against her, but like you, Sofia Vergara or something like that,
Before COVID-19 created more issues for earthquake-shaken Puerto Rico, the island's teachers had already begun working with their communities by adapting new ways to continue the education of their children. Judith Escalona has that story.
With low coronavirus rates in the southwestern part of Puerto Rico, the people are still fearing its spread. Compounding that fear are the recurring earthquakes that began in January, the morning after Three Kings Day.
We were almost going to start school, but after this earthquake, everything stopped. And we start waiting. Let's see what the Department of Education of Puerto Rico will tell us to do. And we're still waiting. But we saw our children having problems to stay calm, to assimilate the reality.
Esta que tú tienes aquí es cartílago, ¿verdad? Ese tiburón está compuesto de todo su cuerpo es compuesto de esto que tú tienes aquí arriba, el cartílago, ¿ok? So, imagínate tú con esta parte de arriba de la oreja en todo el cuerpo.
With ongoing tremors and school closings, teacher Carla Gonzalez found a way to help children and adolescents cope. She began an outdoor experiential learning program in a local park that incorporates Montessori student-centered learning.
So we thought about doing some academic stuff and getting together with them, but this kind of I would call it like a movement of love. It's being spreading and multiplying, and we're receiving calls from people to help and to teach.
Se conocen como pies tubulares y eso es lo que ellos utilizan junto con las espinas para moverse y para agarrarse de las piedras.
Lajas fue bien abatido después del terremoto, las escuelas del área sur no piensan abrir, así que de alguna manera este proyecto que nosotros hemos llamado Montessori en tu comunidad, que comenzó desde el 14 de enero en una primera reunión exploratoria de un grupo de asistentes de cuál podría ser nuestra respuesta Montessori a la crisis de los terremotos en el sur.
Graduate students from the University of Puerto Rico also offered to help.
Pienso que estar en un salón de clases, tomando notas todo el día, donde ellos están haciendo lo mismo casi siempre, todos los días, pues los desmotiva un poco. Y este tipo de actividades puede despertar esa curiosidad.
Eric Torres, graduate student in environmental studies, organized his colleagues at the university to become part of the LATINAS initiative.
O sea, nosotros estamos trayendo temas de ciencia que muchas veces se presentan de forma teórica en las escuelas. Aquí al ver imágenes, traerles los organismos y que ellos tengan el contacto directo, pues son otras destrezas que ellos van desarrollando, así que entiendo que sí es una buena técnica.
Student Amaya Cruz shared her views about the program, while her proud father, Albert Cruz, looked on and heartily agreed.
Lo que más me gustó, no de esta situación de los temblores, pero como que esta situación nos unió más y pues de verdad que me encanta este lugar porque, no sé, es especial porque todo el mundo está unido, aprendemos y nos divertimos.
Learning outdoors can be fun, but it has its limits. With the hurricane season on its way and coronavirus restricting large gatherings, the community will again need to adapt. Power outages also make remote learning impractical. Undoubtedly, while Puerto Rico continues to take hits, the people will continue to innovate. Judith Escalona for LATINAS.
Hello everyone, hello Latinas, I am Laura Gomez. I was asked what type of activities I've been doing to keep myself sane during the quarantine. I have set up a time where I write. It doesn't mean that it's always as productive. Sometimes it's a line, sometimes it's a page. I also have a writing group, so that's been a plus. I did have a circumstance that was very difficult. My mother tested positive for the virus and some family members have some of the symptoms. So those were very difficult days. They're all doing much better now, so it's better, but I implemented meditation to my daily practices because it just helped me relax. I have been watching classics because I'm a film junkie and for some reason old movies kind of take me away from my mind and my worries. And last but not least, we have the gift of technology. So have some virtual coffee or happy hour with your friends and stay connected. And remember that yes, these are difficult days. Yes, we have to be aware. But we also have to stay positive and remember that you're not alone. We're in this together, and this too shall pass.
Celebrity makeup artist Stephanie Flor has worked with some of the most influential celebs out there, from Mariah Carey to Sting. And if that wasn't enough, she's the founder of Around the World Beauty, a travel platform that celebrates diversity and beauty rituals from around the world. And that's why she's today's Latina on the Rise.
It's been a really beautiful journey as a Latina, representing my culture as well, but also combining the cross-cultural experience that's happening here in America and globally.
Costa Rican Ecuadorian artist Stephanie Flor has been wanting a career in the makeup industry since she was a kid.
Like, you know, at 14 years old, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, a makeup artist, and I want a dog. Those are like my two objectives. I believe what draws me to makeup, even till this day, is this idea of transformation. It's a vehicle where you can transform a woman into a man, or a man into a woman, and a woman into her most confident self. And I love that. I love the idea that a little glitter, a little mascara, a little lipstick can just change the way you feel from the inside.
For over 15 years, Stephanie has been transforming faces from the inside and out, and her work has been featured in Time, Glamour, and InStyle magazine. When she's not freelancing as a makeup artist, she's the beauty editor-director at Unearthed Women magazine.
I think when you work in beauty, you realize that beauty is so much more than what you see. It's like how you see with your heart. Because you can be talking to the most beautiful girl, but she doesn't see beauty in herself. Women, I believe, are always looking to connect with who they are. I think I'm lucky that I work in the beauty industry, so I'm constantly looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm constantly inspired by my industry.
Stephanie has not only been lucky in realizing her makeup dreams, but she's also become a global beauty entrepreneur.
I own a business, and it's called Around the World Beauty. And it's a beauty and travel movement where we travel to 5 destinations around the world and we bring women to experience these
this beauty culture around the world in Morocco, Marrakesh. We go to India. We're trying to launch in Japan in 2020.
Stephanie's entrepreneurial spirit also has her doing beauty tours right here in New York City as well.
You know, it starts with going to these spiritual stores that have beauty products and learning about, you know, how to be conscious about the products that you're using, how to detox your beauty bag. And then we go into stores, makeup stores, but that have an impact on the world, that are giving back with every purchase that you make. And then we end at a place where we drink wine, because wine circulates the blood.
So what's Stephanie's advice to budding makeup artists / entrepreneurs?
I would say, be exactly who you are. Because I think that as a Latina, many times, even in my own family, in my own communities, it felt like I needed to fit the mold. There are other women, other Latinas that can relate to that. Reach out to your community, look out for other Latinas, because we truly support each other. We're always looking out for one another.
And that's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu or follow our social media profiles, because we love sharing our Latina stories with you. And please make sure you tune in next time when we'll premiere season 2 of LATINAS. And I can't wait to show you what we have in store. ¡Uepa! Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.